Trying to predict market crashes. First, you have to predict peaks, but not all peaks are the same. Some lead to major crashes. Others are just minor pullbacks. So the question becomes, how do you tell the difference? At KIS Markets, we don't just look at the peak itself. We analyze how closely the current market resembles previous peaks. Because here's the problem. The market might look like it's topping, but if the run-up from the trough doesn't match what we've seen before major crashes, there's a good chance it's not the real peak. So instead of guessing, we analyze multiple dimensions, including technical positioning, environmental conditions, asset rotations and relative strength, and we ask one core question: how similar is today to past peaks that actually led to crashes? If even one piece doesn't line up, we don't rely on it. We cross-check across everything. That's where the edge comes from. Here's a simple example. Let's say we use just 3 variables: performance, duration, and angle. We measure each one from trough to today. Then we compare it to every previous cycle going back to 1970. The model builds a baseline from history, then scores today based on how closely it matches. If today's performance is 89% and the historical average is 60%, that variable scores high. Each variable gets scored, then weighted, then combined into a single model score from 0 to 1, where 1 equals a high probability of a peak occurring and 0 equals a low probability. But we don't stop there, because identifying a potential peak is not the same as confirming a crash. So we use a second model, a confirmation layer. It compares the last 6 days of market data to the first 6 days of past crashes, looking for early signals like technical positioning, yield curve behavior, volatility expansion, and flight to safety across global markets. If those patterns align, we get confirmation that we're no longer in a peak and we're entering a crash phase. Individually, these models are powerful. Together, they become something much more. And this was just a simplified example. In reality, we're running hundreds, even thousands of variables in real time. Once fully built, you'll be able to create custom strategies for every phase of the market cycle. For example, you could run a high momentum strategy during the trough to base phase, which is the recovery period where markets rebound quickly after a crash. Then shift into a more conservative intermarket and sector rotation strategy, or even a value strategy during the base to peak phase, as markets move from recovery into expansion and new highs. From there, you can test and deploy strategies for the peak to trough phase, or the crash phase, to identify what has historically performed best during downturns, or at the very least, what has consistently protected capital. To take it a step further, our platform will be able to transition your portfolio automatically between these phases. Using our peak transitory feature, the system will begin underweighting and exiting your base to peak positions, while simultaneously entering and overweighting your peak to trough strategies, all based on the increasing probability of a market peak and upcoming crash. And similarly, our trough transitory system will rotate you back into recovery strategies as markets bottom and begin to rebound. All of this will be fully customizable to your risk parameters and mandate. And longer term, we've begun early discussions around enabling this entire cycle strategy to be backed into a fully customizable, autonomously managed ETF, one that could be deployed for clients, funds, or the broader market. More on that soon. When fully built, KIS Markets will let you customize your own models, upload your own data, run real-time backtests, access live signals via API, deploy strategies across global markets, and so much more. This is just the beginning. We have a lot more coming. Stay tuned and reach out if you want to be a part of what we're building. Also, keep an eye out for our coming soon video to see what tools and products are coming out first. Thanks so much for watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.